Okay, hi. This will be a short video about the light setup I posted some days on YouTube. This is this video here, and I got a lot of comments about the lighting and the camera movements and everything else, and I thought, okay, why not give a quick overview how I did the lighting of this scene. This will be a set for my new iClone series I'm working on. Let's stop this video and go to iClone, and here you can see the scene. I'm going to the camera. Let's scrub through the scene. So here you can see the full iClone render without any post-processing effects from the video. And this video is divided into three parts. First of all, I will talk about the light setup, and the second part is I will talk about the atmosphere, which is always a very important part of lighting. And in the third part, I will talk about the camera I used here, because I got asked in the comments about this, and I will quickly talk about how I achieved this handheld camera style. Okay, let's go into the first section, and the first section is the lighting itself. So as you can see here, there is a daylight situation. We have two windows here. We have also two windows up here, but we will ignore them right now. And we have a third window here. So I will shut down every light here. So now it's dark, not dark again, not really dark, because we have to shut down the atmosphere effects, including the IBL. So now it's dark. The windows have a glow map because it will give you the impression of light shining through the window. Let's switch off the global illumination 2, and now we have a very dark room with no light in it. And normally when you do sunlight which comes through the windows, you would go with a directional light, you know, like this one. Yeah, this is how the directional light looks like. It's an infinite light from one direction, creates shadows, and when you switch it on, you get this. And this is not really satisfying, because you don't have the impression of sunlight here. Yeah, this is a problem. And then the biggest problem is everything in this room gets bright, but here there need to be shadows here. So what you can do is you can switch the darkness to 100. You can see that here, but it doesn't look good, not at all. And when you have this on 100%, every other light have to fight with this shadow value. That's the reason why I dismissed this option. So delete this light, we don't need that. And I'm going with a spotlight. You can see it here. So the spotlight is in front of this window. It shines through the glass, and it makes a very nice shadow here on the table. It's important that you use SSS transmission, important for this new character here, character creator 3.0. character with digital human shader, and also it is wise to use like this new IES feature, and that means that you can load certain predefined light patterns, and I like to use the area white because it intensifies the light a lot, and you don't have to go up with the multiplier too much. And the other thing is you have it's very bright in the center, and it will get very weak when it gets away from the center, the light. So you can see it's barely visible here on this platform, but it's still there. So this is what I did first. So let's switch on the next one. This is for this window. You can see, so those two lights are for this window, and then of course I have light for this window too. So and I've also did a light here on that door, because we have this this small window here. So I created a light there too, to create some kind of shadow on the floor right now here. Okay, then let's go to the fireplace. Before I talk about the fire, let's talk about global illumination. Global illumination is a very great system to illuminate your scene. When you switch it on, you see the light intensifies here, because all objects have a light bounce value, and the light will bounce through the scene and will light other places where the spotlight could not reach. So, and this is achieved by those voxels. Those voxels transport the light through the scene, and this global illumination is really important since iClone 7, and it's a very helpful tool to light your scene. But you can't rely on global illumination alone, because global illumination doesn't cause any shadows. So now we have our fire here. When I play, you see that this fire illuminates this place, and it looks fine, it looks okay. And as you can see, I reduced the illumination to a very minimum. So because I don't want the illumination on this wall or on that wall, because the fire is in this confined space, and the light can't be here or here. So that's the reason why I try to reduce the lighting here to this area. It looks good. It flickers. It's fine, but it's not. But it doesn't cast shadows. You know, when you look here, you don't have any shadows here, and that's not good. So we have to help the global illumination a bit, and this is achieved by another spotlight, and this is right in the middle of the flame. And as you can see now, we have shadows here. from the table and everything else. And this spotlight will illuminate until this region here. Everything with this fine yellow light. Let's put up the timeline for a moment, and you can see I have a lot of keyframes here, and those keyframes are multiplayer keyframes. So when I go, these keyframes will simulate the light flickering. So every time you set a new keyframe and you make a new value here. This is very low, the next keyframe has a very high value, and the next keyframe a very, very low value. And this is what you have to do. To get a simulated flickering light for fire. Now this is only one light, and I wasn't satisfied really, because this is too dark. I needed some more lights here to simulate the fire. So I created two other spotlights. Also, every spotlight has this this flickering keyframes here, and now you can see we have this flickering, and we have a lot of shadows here, which helps the scene very, very much. And after all, I have to look for it here. There's another light here in the fire. It's a spotlight. Not a spotlight, it's not correct, it's a point light. Let's bring it on. This is this one. And this is there to illuminate the background from the fireplace. Then we go to this small window here, and as you can see, everything looks okay, but it isn't very bright here. It needs to have more light from the sun. So that's the reason why I decided to do another spotlight, and this time in front of the window. When I put it on, you can see it makes the scene here much brighter. So you have the impression that the daylight will really come through this window. I did this for every window down here, so we don't have, because if you can see it's very dark. So this is the next slide. It's also here in front of the window, and then this one is also in front of the window. I put it on, and now it looks much more like a daylight scene. Okay, I did this also here for the door, just to tell you. There's one light here in this direction. Let's put it on. So we have a small glimpse of daylight in this direction, and there is also the opposite one light in this direction, and you have a glimpse here and on this column from the daylight which comes through this little small window here. Then I realized, okay, I had to I had to do something about these corners here, because we have this big window here. The light is coming through, shine on this character, and normally those sides would be much brighter. So I decided to do another light setup here. One of this side, one for this side, and one for the other side. When I switch it on, you can see that those lights will illuminate these sides to simulate the daylight which comes through. This will also be the case on the other window. Same thing. I just copied those lights, those two lights over to here. And the last light I was setting up is a point light here, and I will show you. This point light can be used to fill a certain area with light which doesn't illuminate any shadows. And when I switch it on, you can see it makes this area here a lot brighter. And when I am finished with the atmosphere tab, then you will understand why I did the light there, because now it's bright enough, but we have to do the atmosphere next. Let's go to the visual tab, and the first thing I will do, I will deactivate the lookup tables. So as you can see, this is the raw iClone renderer without any color correction. Okay, let's look at her. So it looks fine, but it's not really impressive. And we have the opportunity or the option in iClone to use certain lookup tables. You will find it in Atmosphere, Effect LUT, and there are certain lookup tables, color correction you're gonna get with iClone 7, and there is a lookup table pack you can buy in the Revolution store, and I have this installed here. And there you can see you have a lot of color correction options. So you can film base, film standard, film vintage, a lot of retro effects or popular looks. And I was going for the vintage thing. So, and let's go back to the scene, to the visual tab, and in the post effect. So, and first of all, I had a color adjust, just like a brightness, contrast correction, and then I had 3 lookup tables here, vintage 8, 9, and 4, and each of them favors one color channel. One of them is more bluish, the other one is more this is more yellow, I think. This makes it darker, and this is more kind of blue. And when you combine every one, you get this look, this warm warm color correction, and this is what I was looking for. And as you can see, you can choose the effect contribution. So how when this value is on 100, you increase the strength of the effect to 100%. And as you can see, every effect has a certain amount of percent which inflicts the image, and this in combination makes this this look I wanted. As you can see here in the shadows, I have only resolution 1024 to 1024 because I have to look after my video memory. As you can see, this scene alone with this character takes about 5 GB of video memory, which is very, very high. So I also have to stay with the low resolution voxel mode for global illumination, because when I go to high resolution, I lose at least 800 MB of video RAM, and I can't afford this. That's the compromises you have to do when you have such a scene. Then let's go to the atmosphere, the visual tab here, ambient occlusion. It's really important. I don't think I have to say anything. Fog. I always have fog in a scene because fog makes a very good lighting effect. As you can see, when I switch it on, it gives the scene a small percentage of haziness. I do always start the fog on the value 50, and the end value is depends on the own on what you want. If you want a very foggy scene, you do a small value, and then you see the scene is much more foggy. But I wanted this, and you can see it has a small effect, but it's not too much, but it adds something to the scene. And then HDR. HDR is very important. So when you HDR, you see right now, I will switch off the tone map right now. You have the bloom settings where you can set up the bloom scale. There's one good the advanced bloom settings. You should make it like this when you want to have a big bloom effect. You want the largest spread strength very, very high, and you want the base area strength very, very low, and everything else is between them. And this is how you can get a very wide bloom effect if you want this to happen. So, you know, like here on this word. You also can, you also should go here under the global illumination, and there's also a glow setting, and I do this the same. Let's go to the tone map. Switch on the tone map, and you see, okay, the scene gets somewhat darker. So what this tone map is really useful to get to make your image stronger in brightness and contrast. And I really suggest that you use this for your compositions and for your renderings. And then we have the IBL, and the IBL is a very important thing. There are a lot of IBL graphics coming with iClone, also HDR IBL maps. I find they are good maps, but I find them too strong. they makes when you switch on the IBL and when you go, I switch it on right now, and when you go on strength 10 or 20, the scene loses a lot of shadows, a lot of darkness. This is what this isn't what we want. We need shadows. When we have light, we need shadows, and with the IBL you can lose this very quickly. As you can see, I made a 360-degree rendering of this scene, and I made it my IBL. I had it in strength 1000 because because this IBL is really dark. but it has impact when I you know, you see it here. You can see the difference. The candles here, over here, and also the torch on the wall when I play. It's all they're all illuminated by this flame. This flame has global illumination. Then you go down here and you see it emits light illumination right now, and it's way up to 100 strength. Every flame here has the same strength, and when you play, you see that the flames illuminate the surrounded area, and the same thing we have here with the torch. And I left it like it is. I didn't do any other lights like the fireplace, because it works as intended, and you don't need to overdo your lighting because you have to look at your video memory. That's very important, because the scene isn't ready yet. There are a lot of props coming in, and there will be more characters here, and I'm already up to 5 GB video memory. I only have 3 left, and this is not very much. Okay, and for the last part I will shortly explain how to do the camera. So then let's put the camera on display, and let's look where our cameraman is. He is there, and I play the scene. So, and you can see it's just a character with the camera mounted on the head, and this character has an idle animation. You can see here, and this idle animation I made myself. This idle animation is causing this human-like shaking of the camera. You see, especially you will see when the camera turns around. You can see this better. You know, this light subtle shaking comes through this idle animation from this character, and you can do this by your own. This animation, I wouldn't suggest an animation and bought or prefabricated animation, because there's a lot of stuff you don't want in this, and it's better you do it yourself. And I will show you how you do it, I will just load a new project and load the avatar. So, okay. And now I will do about 15 seconds. You should make at least 60 seconds of this idle animation. It's better to have a longer animation than to repeat a shorter one over and over, because you can feel that this is always the same animation. Okay, then when you can do an idle animation via Direct Puppet. Open Direct Puppet. We select this chest area. Go on Primary Rotate. Press Record. Press Space, and then we move the character just a bit, not too much. Okay, so now we have an animation here. Then we go to the beginning, select the head, do the same thing. We're moving the head just a little bit, not too much, with the mouse. Okay, so now we have this animation, and now we click on the animation, right click and set sample clip and sample all parts optimized. So that will take some time. When you have a longer clip, it will take really long, at least a minute. Don't think your iClone is crashed. Normally it will happen after some time. Now you see we have all the keys we have created with our Direct Puppet here in this timeline right now, and now this animation is smoothed out because every key gets the default in and out curve, and everything is smoothed out. And if you have the feeling, okay, the head is moving too much on a certain position here, then you just remove the keys you don't like. When you're satisfied, then you just right click the clip says flatten all parts, and after that you collect the clip in the collect clip here, right click and add motion to library. I don't do that because I don't need it. I need it. Add motion to library, save it, and you can apply this motion to this character and have a very nice handheld look with your camera. Okay, that's all for now, and I hope you found this a bit informative, and see you next time. Bye.